Hi there, and welcome to Live with the Paper Pixie. I'm Julie DiMatteo, the Paper Pixie, coming to you live from Alpharetta, Georgia. What is today? Today's episode 329, I think. Oh, goodness. I hope you guys are having a great week. If you are watching us live, say hello and where you're watching from. I have all things out of order in my head today. Today's Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. I cannot believe that it is May already. It seems that it's still April. No, I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day. I know Mother's Day can be difficult for some of us, myself included, but I hope you had a few moments of hope and joy during Mother's Day. Lily and I had kind of a special Mother's Day. Our Mother's Day started, my Mother's Day started kind of fun. We did a sleepover at the Georgia Aquarium Saturday night. So for those of you who supported Lily's Girl Scout troop this year, a heartfelt thanks. We got to have a very special mother-daughter trip with Lily's Girl Scout troop. It was 5 girls and their mamas. We had a sleepover at the Georgia Aquarium, and so those of you that purchased Girl Scout cookies from Lily this year, that gave us that amazing opportunity. So it was super fun. We got to do behind the scenes, which I'd never seen at the Georgia Aquarium. We have frequented that aquarium so many times. It's my favorite. Is it your favorite, Brian? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's our favorite aquarium, so I highly recommend it. But we got to see behind the scenes, which was just so cool. I didn't really sleep much, but that was part of the fun. So that was Mother's Day. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I'm a little bit exhausted today because, and so is Brian, we worked our butts off to get product shares and In Color Club out the door. So we sent out about 200 packages this week. Product shares went out yesterday and In Color Club went out today. So yes, I was happy to get those out, but wow, we have hit the ground running since we got back from Mexico and just haven't really come up for air. So on top of that, I have 3 live streams this week. I've got tonight. Tomorrow night is my Pixie Patron members only stream. And then Friday night, I'm doing a special stream for my team with Jackie Ballheist, Sharon Armstrong, and Susan Campfield. So we are pulling our teams together to do a fun live on Friday. So that's 3 live streams back to back. We felt like a shipping warehouse this week, but I'm happy that those are on the way to a mailbox near you. So that's the scoop. I haven't even opened my new products from the annual catalog. So I've got a short and sweet project for you tonight. Plenty of time for Q&A if you've got questions for me. Speaking of which, if you do have a question tonight, put a Q in front of that question. Otherwise, it's just a comment. That will help me queue your questions for tonight's Q&A, which I will save until the end of tonight's live stream. That way I can focus on demonstrating tonight's project for you, and then I will stay on until I answer all of your questions. So let's see, what else am I going to tell you? The new catalog launched. That was on May 1st. So that's now been live for about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks and kind of a day because we're at the end of the day here in the US, but some amazing products. There was a glitch this week, I think. A few products disappeared from the online store. Don't really know what happened. Stampin' Up! Is working on it if they haven't already fixed it. So if you had some products you were trying to order and you couldn't, and you wondered why, that could have been why. But I've been kind of out of the loop, focused on getting things out the door. So let's see. When you shop with me, you earn Pixie Perks on orders of $25 or more. All you need to do is use my magic shopping link, thepaperpixie.com/shop. That will auto-magically add my current host code to your order. Make sure that you're shopping with me and take you directly to the Stampin' Up! Online store. If your order is $150 or more, take that host code off of your order because you're going to earn Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up! And you'll also earn Pixie Perks from me as well. Let me give you a sneaky peek of our project tonight, and I'm going to want your feedback. Okay, here it is. I have 2 things I want your feedback on. One, what the heck do we call this project? It's kind of a double-ended milk carton. But that sounds like a weird name for a gift box. And the other question is, what do you think about this little bow on the side? So I am using the Labeled with Love bundle. So that's the stamp set, which I love. And this You Are Loved is just perfect for a little kind of random act of kindness gift like this one. And I opted for, I haven't even labeled this yet, but this is the Labeled with Love punch. But what's really great about this is you can also get it as a die bundle as well. So there's actually 2 bundles that are like that, and let me see if I can find them fairly quickly in the catalog, because I just wanted to make sure that you knew there are options. All right, we're getting there. Here we go. Okay, so on the spread, pages 58 and 59, let me move some stuff out of the way here. With both the Labeled with Love bundle and the Keeping Tabs bundle, you've got the option of dies or a punch. So I want to talk about a couple of things here. Make sure that you're taking a look at the item numbers and you're ordering the one that you want. So those are kind of hidden there in this little melon mambo color here. With the Labeled with Love bundle, the dies actually is 1 die that cuts out 3 labels, or it's 1 punch that punches out 1 label. So the price is the same. So with the punch, it's $39.50. With the die, which will cut out 3, is $39.50 as well. The cool thing about the punch, I want to point out this sample here, is that you can do sort of these 3 windows. Sorry, the cool thing about the dies, my brain tells me that I just said punch. When I'm live, my mouth says one thing and my brain thinks another. So it happens. But you can cut out 3 and kind of create little windows. I don't know. Who am I kidding? I'm probably going to purchase also the dies, but for now I purchased the punch. And then the same thing with the Keeping Tabs bundle, although each of them, whether you do the dies or the punch, just punch out 1. And there's a price difference there. So if you just do the dies, it's $27.75. And if you do it with the punch, it's $37.75. And that's just because the die just does the 1. I do want to point out the die also adds, we're not using this tonight, but I figured we're on this spread in the catalog. The die also adds the little emboss there for the, or I should say the score line there for the punch. I'm sorry, for the tab. But I have used this today to make my in-color cards for my in-color club members, and it's really easy to fold the punch version as well. So take a look at that, pages 58 and 59, Labeled with Love bundle, Keeping Tabs bundle. We've got options of dies or punch, a little bit of difference between the 2. So the Labeled with Love bundle, again, page 58, that's what we're using today. And yes, so with the, Katrina's got a good point. You can punch out more than 3 with the time to set up the dies. Let's see. I'm not sure I'm following you, Katrina, but I think I understand. My brain is fried. But the other thing too is think about how you use dies versus a punch. For me, punches always go a lot faster. Just because there's a little bit of setup time with the dies, but I almost always opt for a punch, but I don't know. So here is the little gift box that I'm not sure what we're going to call it. Almost looks a little bit like a bonbon. I've done a couple boxes similar to this in the past. This uses a 6x6 piece of designer series paper. So this is great for those of you that have paper in your product shares on the way to you. This is a project that you'll be able to use for that. So, all right. So, yes, the label die is 3 individual labels. The punch is 1. Oh, it's 3 individual. Thank you, Terry, for correcting me. I'm seeing that now. It says 3 dies. So yeah, you can set them up in a bunch of different ways. Told you, I haven't even had time to look at the catalog, really. All right, I think we're gonna do a different colorway. Why don't we go ahead and do Shy Shamrock so I can show you. This one is the, I always forget, Summer Splash. That's the color I used here. This is one of the new 2024 to 2026 in colors. So Summer Splash, we'll use Shy Shamrock so you can see the similarities and the differences between these two. They're kind of close in color. This is more of a blue, whereas the Shy Shamrock is a green. Although if you ask Brian, he says they're both green. So you have to tell me if you're team blue or green for Summer Splash. I think it favors both. Depends on what you put it with, I think. All right, ooh, double diamond gift box. I like that. You love the bow. Okay, cool. I'm going to go back and look at your comments after the stream as well.
Love the bow.
Everybody loves the bow. Yay!
Said the Tesla Cybertruck.
Oh, is that what it's called? The Cybertruck?
I mean, it hasn't reached production, but
I saw it on the road. I've seen it twice now. The really weird looking, it looks like it was made out of a cardboard box.
well, it's stainless steel, but that rust.
Lily called it a cyborg. Anyways, I saw one on the road today and one like 2 days ago. It is what this looks like. Just put on some wheels and it's the new Tesla. I love it. Oh, that sounds like something Bubba G would say. All right. Oh yeah, Team Blue, Green. You guys are so funny. Summer Splash sounds like Pool Party. Yes, it's like a darker shade of Pool Party. All right. Let me grab Shy Shamrock. Maybe. Do I have a Shy Shamrock? Yes. All right. So here's Shy Shamrock. I don't know. Well, you can kind of see they're so close, but obviously Summer Splash looks more blue next to Shy Shamrock, but I can also see the green here. All right. So we're going to start with 6x6. I do not have a project sheet linked yet because we literally took the In Color Club packages to the post office by the 5 o'clock cutoff. And then I switched gears to plan for tonight's live stream. So I will have a project sheet linked most likely at some point tomorrow. So come back to the video and check that out and you can download that free project sheet. I have a template to share with you tonight just to kind of show you how to cut things, but that will all be included in the project sheet. I'll get that uploaded tomorrow for you. All right, now with this gift box, I have opted to have it sort of be in portrait where the short side is at the top and the long side is on the side because of the fact that I'm using this labeled with love punch, okay? And it's with the sentiment that I chose, it sits portrait. So this paper specifically is not directional. I mean, it kind of is if you really study the bubbles on here. This is the 2024 to 2026 In Color Designer Series paper. It's a pack of 6x6 and you get 40 sheets in the pack. So 8 sheets of each of the 5 new In Colors. So with a non-directional pattern, it does not matter where we start here. I'm going to go ahead and score then, let's see, on one of the 6-inch sides at 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, and 5 1/2. Let me repeat those again. 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, 5 1/2. And then I'm going to turn it a 1/4 of a turn and we're going to score this at 1 inches and 2 inches from each side. So I'm just going to go ahead and rotate it just so you don't have to remember as many measurements. 1 and 2. If you didn't want to rotate, you could just do 1, 2, 4, and 5. Okay. You probably can kind of see the mess behind me. All right, we're gonna fold and burnish on all the score lines. All right, so let me bring in the template. So I have got the 1 inch and 2 inch, the 4 and the 5 inch score lines are along the left and the right, just to show you in orientation to the template, okay? So what we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna turn it to the side here. And I don't know, it's easier for me to see the score lines on this side. Hopefully you can kind of see that. So I'm gonna flip it over. So the section that is opposite the little 1/2 inch section, we're leaving that behind on both sides, just kind of get your orientation here. You got the little 1/2 inch section. That is going to be our tab to close the box. So we're focused on the 1 inch by 1 3/8 inch section here. So I'm going to come in, and to sort of help me close the box, I'm going to come just inside of that score line. I'm going to cut up vertically and stop at that first horizontal score line. Okay, so we're going to keep this section. The rest of these are going to go. So if I flip it over this way like the template, that whole section is going to get cut away. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. I like doing that vertical cut first, then I can just cut all the way along this score line. It's going to become a vertical cut when I turn it to cut, and that's going to remove these 4 sections here. And this time I'm just cutting right down the middle of the score line. Now, if that's too long of a journey for your paper snips, you can absolutely cut that using the paper trimmer. So we're going to get rid of that, okay? So we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So just make sure whatever you're doing on this side, we're repeating the opposite on the other side. So again, I'm going to cut up the vertical score line here, again, just inside of it. And when I say just inside of it, the score line is on the piece that we're going to cut away, okay? So I'm going to turn 1/4 of a turn, cut up that vertical score line, and remove those 4 sections. Like so, okay? So now our piece looks like that. If I turn it back this way, like so. Okay, so next on this little 1/2 inch section, I'm just gonna come in and miter cut those edges there. Just gets those corners out of the way so we don't have any paper overhanging. And then we do want to round the corners of these 2 tabs that we've left behind. That's going to make it easier for these to tuck into the box. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, so I just have, this is an EK Success corner rounder, and I'm going to go ahead and round those corners. Show you a little trick here. Oops. All right, so this isn't going to fit real well the way it is with the guide. So just fold on that score line so that you've got that nice flat edge here to come in and corner around the opposite corner. Like so. So just maneuver your paper so you get that flat edge to use those corner rounder punches, okay? Hello, Jen. All right. So now that looks like our template, okay? So easy to put together. I love that this uses 6 by 6. The other cool thing is you can absolutely adjust this middle section. So if you, for example, wanted this to look square in this section here, then you would just cut your paper to 5 3/8. So 6 by 5 3/8, and you would still just score at 1 and 2 from each side, and then the center section you can adjust the width of it. Okay, so this width is 2 inches. If you were to cut it to 5 3/8 inch wide here, the starting width, then you'd end up with a square here that was 1 3/8 by 1 3/8. So that's just an option for you. You can make this longer, shorter, whatever to your liking, okay? So that's the template again. That will be on the project sheet for you. Coming tomorrow. All right, so now I'm gonna flip this over to sort of that inside of our box, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab liquid glue. I'm gonna fold on the second score line from the left so that I can get at this little 1/2 inch tab here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do liquid glue just on that little 1/2 inch section. All right, so then I'm gonna fold on that first score line from the right, and I've just pressed my whole gift box just flat on my surface here, using our score lines to line everything up. Just kind of go back and forth here. There we go. All right, so then we've got something that looks like this. Weird looking contraption here. We don't need any more adhesive, believe it or not, because this is going to be kind of, not a self-closing, but what would you call it? Kind of a tuck and fold. Oh, I don't know. It holds itself closed without adhesive. Or I should say it stays closed. All right, so I'm going to take my index fingers and thumbs and middle fingers. I've got those on the four corners, my thumb and middle finger. I'm going to press in with my index fingers and squeeze. Now, we aren't doing diagonal score lines here because this is 1 3/8 of an inch in width here, and the center mark is going to be a 1/16 of an inch, so I didn't want to mess with that. So we're just going to use our paper to sort of form that milk carton look there on the side. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. And for me, it works best to kind of get a flat surface and then use that sort of as leverage to just pinch and close. So we're just using that score line, stops the diagonal lines from going past it, and that works great. All right, so now this part's going to be not extra tricky, but the first time we try to tuck these little tabs in, they're going to give us a little bit of problem. Now, if we need to trim or give any bit of a haircut here, we can, but I'm going to see if we can do this without that. I do like to just gently curl the tab, and I'm just putting the paper between the bone folder and my thumb. Just do that to both of them, just to kind of train the paper to start to tuck in, okay? So it's ever so slightly curved. And I'm going to start to tuck it in. We're going to put it right in here at this edge. And because of those diagonal folds there, that is going to naturally keep the tab in place. Now, the first time you do it is going to be the most challenging, but after you've sort of trained the paper, it should be much, much easier. So I have to kind of make sure that everything is lined up. Now that is giving me a little bit of trouble. So here's my little tip for you. I'm going to come in and ever so slightly just cut a little bit of a mitered angle off the edge there. And when I mean a little bit, like tiny, 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 you can take away too much and then you're going to be sad. So take away just the tiniest little amount to start with. If you take away too much, then this isn't going to hold itself closed, and you're going to need something else to hold it closed, like maybe some adhesive or something like that. So now I've just a little bit of a sliver, and you'll see that I have actually removed a little bit too much, but we're just going to go with it. I was so close. All right, so then we're going to tuck the opposite side. Let's see if I can get away with this one without trimming it. Oh, without trimming it. See if I can get it to go. There we go. Now, so this is what to do and what not to do. So that one is holding itself closed nicely. Okay, this one's popping out just a little bit. One way you could fix that is you could actually wrap the ribbon around it long ways. My best advice though is not to trim away too much. Okay, now if I wanted to, I could just put adhesive on this one and then just have the box open at the top. But all you need to do is just pull it out like so. You can put a finger notch in here if you want to, but I found it is just easiest to pull. See how much easier that went in after we kind of trained the paper? Just pull it open that way. Now, things that will fit in here, you could fit a Ferrero Rocher. Actually, probably 2 of them is my guess. Do I have 2? I do. Let's test this. I'm going to do one. Might do one from each side because I want to get the round part. Well, the whole thing is round, but let's see if we can fit 2 in there. Yuppers. That's going to drive me nuts that it's popping out. But yeah, we fit 2 Ferreros in there. Now one was a Raffaello, but it's the same size. The Ron Noir, the Raffaello is the Ferrero Rochers. So 2 of those will fit in there. You could put a handful of, I don't know, Werther's, Hershey's Nuggets, you name it. If you've got something that's a little bit challenging to get in there, you could open both ends to slide it in. Let's see, what else could fit in there? I know mini Tic Tacs will fit a whole bunch of other things, but it's a pretty good size in there. You could throw a little handful of Hershey's Kisses, that type of thing in there. Let's see. All right, so now let's go ahead and decorate this. The first thing I'm gonna do is grab some ribbon. Got a brand new roll that I haven't even cut into yet. This is Shy Shamrock. These ribbons are awesome to work with. It comes in all 5 of the in colors plus the basic beige. This is the bordered ribbon, again in Shy Shamrock. So grab that. Grab my reverse tweezers because I need that third hand. Yeah, this is gonna drive me nuts, guys. So I'm putting liquid glue on it. We'll keep that one end closed there. Let's see how much of a mess I'm about to make. There we go. Ooh yeah, mini peanut butter cups. Those would work. All right, there we go. We closed the one end. So there's a little fix for you. If you trimmed away too much, just put a little bit of liquid glue and you got one end closed. So now it'll just open from the top. And let's remember that this is our top. So that's the way that I want to put the sentiment. Let's see if I can remember that. But I love how that holds itself closed when you don't trim away too much. All right. Do our little ribbon on the side. Again, if you don't like the ribbon on the side, you can also wrap it around long ways. I'm gonna turn it to the side here. And I've got my reverse tweezers here. So I get my little kind of plus sign going with the ribbon. Use my reverse tweezers. I always feel like it's like a surgical tool here. It holds things together for me. So that just is an extra hand for me, that my ribbon doesn't come undone while I'm working on the loops. All right, there we go. Now we're gonna zhuzh. Welcome, Deirdre. If you are new here, let us know. My amazing audience will welcome you. I got adhesive on my fingers. I also have inky fingers. I put my thumb right into an ink pad today. It was actually Shy Shamrock. All right, there we go. Loop-de-loops, I like those. And then we'll get a little trim. There's that. And then we're just gonna center that. Okay. I'm gonna get a scrap piece of basic white. I need to clean my stamps really quick. Actually, I'll just go ahead and use my favorite cleaning tool. This is the Stampin' Scrub, the OG, my favorite. Now the bottle that the Stampin' Mist bottle that it comes with is an 8-ounce spray bottle. It's large and in charge, so I just bought one of these sprayers off of Amazon. On the Stampin' Scrub, there's little things in the corner here. That's raindrops, and that's sunshine. So sunshine's your dry side, raindrops is your wet side. A lot of people recommend using colorful nail polish. I know that folks have used acrylic paint, I think, blue and yellow to make it much easier to spot. So I'll just put a couple spritzes of that. It smells like perfume. So now Brian gets to smell the Stampin' Mist. I will never forget Bonnie Thurber, who used to work for Stampin' Up at a Stampin' Up event. She was cleaning her stamps and then she just did a little perfume spray of Stampin' Mist, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. All right, so I'm cleaning these off from the Summer Splash. So you scrub on the wet side and then scrub on the dry side and they come clean. Shy Shamrock ink pad. Again, similar but different. So for this, we've got photopolymer, and I actually like to stamp the sentiment first. Now, if you've got a brand new stamp set that's photopolymer, you might just want to condition it, and the easiest way to do that is just rub it on your pants. But you could use Versamark to condition it if you want. But that'll just get some of the, not debris, but the, after photopolymer is processed, sometimes it's got a little bit of manufacturer kind of film on it. And then I'm stamping the outline, and this way it's actually easier for me to line it up with the outline second. If I do that one second, because I can see the sentiment and get that centered. But I love the way that outline works. Isn't that pretty? All right. So now, grab the punch. And I love our punches. I put it too far in my scrap, so here's the little trick. I'm just gonna cut off a little sliver here. Now we can get at it. There we go. All right, so a little trick here. I have my punch is just lightly squeezed so that paper's not moving. That gives me a little bit more control to get this right where I want it before I punch it. So just very light squeeze. I'm not punching through yet till I get it where I want it, and then punch. And then you've got that really pretty monochromatic look. Now, you could use Stampin' Write markers if you wanted to color the flowers there. Maybe the flowers one color and the leaves another. You could also color the border as well if you want to make that different from the sentiment. So you got options. With photopolymer, markers do tend to pill up just a little bit, but you'll still get a really nice look. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and add this to our gift box. Just gonna grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I don't wanna put it on the ribbon, just gonna kind of do 4 at the top and the bottom. So that ribbon's gonna kind of go right through the middle there. The backing's off. And then we're gonna center that here. And I'm looking at the section between the score lines so that I've got that is the same distance to the score line as that is to that top score line, like so, okay? So I've got that little bow on the side, which is cute. And then I'm gonna grab one of the shimmer gems in the In Colors. My Take Your Pick tool is in the living room, so I'm gonna grab the old piercing tool, which I love and will never be able to get rid of. And we're just gonna pop one little shimmer gem there in the upper left to finish off our little gift box. So let me tidy up a bit. I'll bring in both colors. You can see them next to each other on camera. So we've got Summer Splash here on the left and Shy Shamrock here on the right. And how cute would these be in all 5 of the In Colors? Again, we've got Peach Pie, Pretty in Pink, and Petunia Pop as well. Let me actually bring out those ink pads if you haven't seen the new In Colors yet. Let's see. Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie. And I'm searching for my Summer Splash. There we go. Well, let's put it so that there's no glare. Right here. There we go. Okay, Peach Pie, Pretty in Pink, which is a comeback. It's the color we had that retired in 2013. It's now back in our lineup. Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, Petunia Pop. So we've got Summer Splash and Shy Shamrock. All right, so that is tonight's project. Again, check back on the video tomorrow. I will add a link to the project sheet. We're going to step into our Q&A section at this point. If you do have a question for me, please put a Q in front of that question. I saw that Brian was grabbing a few of your questions that didn't have the Q. Those have now made it into my queue since he's added the Q for you. And if you are enjoying tonight's stream, be sure to hit the little thumbs up button just below the video. That lets us know you like the content. And if you're new here, we'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. You can just hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified each time I've got videos scheduled to go live. Also, a quick plug for my Pixie patrons. Tomorrow night is episode 8 of my members only live stream. That is for my Pixie patrons. You may have seen some individuals in the chat that have a little magic wand next to their name. They are our channel members, our Pixie patrons. We'd love to have you join the channel. It's $4.99 per month. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can support the channel. And every month I do a members only live stream where I share 2 card layouts, including free digital downloads that come with that. Or I should say they're not free. They're part of the channel membership, but you do get digital downloads. We are building a card layout binder together as Pixie patrons. So tomorrow night is episode 8. At 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to join the channel, there is a link just below this video in the description. If you don't, and there's also a join button as well. So if you don't see the join button, go check out the link in the video description. We'd love to have you join us tomorrow night. All right, so let me get the questions teed up here. All right. We have Ramona up. Our trip to Mexico was amazing. We got back, let's see, May 4th. We went to Playa del Carmen. We flew in, we're in the Atlanta area, so it was a quick flight to Cancun. What, it was about 2 hours?
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Oh, Brian. So we had a wonderful time. The weather was beautiful. We got adventurous. We went zip lining. We went... Well, we went to Senses, which is where we went ziplining, but we also went to this village that messed with our senses so much. It was like if we stopped walking, we would lose our balance. At least I lost my balance. Did you lose your balance if we stopped?
The one where you hauled ass through it?
No, not that one.
Oh, the village?
The village.
Oh, yeah, that was...
So the village was so strange for anybody that's been to, it's the Hotel Xcaret in Mexico. And I swear it felt like we were walking downhill, like physically, from a gravity perspective, but visually we were walking uphill. So that just messed with our mind. But then there was like these little rooms off to the side where there were picture opportunities, but we didn't know what the picture was going to look like because what we saw is not what the picture looked like when we got the pictures back. So there's one photo that we're hanging from the ceiling. It looks like we are. So when we were in there taking the picture, the dining room table and chairs were actually on the ceiling in the physical room, but the photo they flipped. Anyways, it was so crazy. The water was flowing upstream. And I did take a Dramamine before that. So we had some adventure there. We did a water slide, which, holy fast water slide. Got water up my nose and all kinds of stuff. And then there was like a salt pool.
Float?
Yeah, it was like a floating river that had a high salt content. I did not float.
I did not float.
And then there was a mud river, and we had a really good time. And then we ate wonderful food. It was an all-inclusive resort. Again, I have to always give my disclaimer, less than 1% of demonstrators earn this trip. This was the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. It takes a lot of hard work to earn it. We're so grateful for the opportunity. I'm so grateful to my team and customers as well. But it was all-inclusive. So when we went to the airport to fly home on Saturday, the 4th, we got breakfast. And I'm like, wait, we have to pay for this? We were so used to eating meals without getting a bill. So we had a great time. It was a good time for Brian and I to get away. And the kids had fun with their grandma that week. So yeah, it was wonderful. That was a long-winded answer, Ramona, but I know I didn't talk about it much last week because I needed to shorten the stream a little bit. But we had a great time. So it was beautiful. If you ever get a chance to go, we highly recommend it. All right. No updated news, Cheryl, on the glass mat. I haven't heard any updated dates, or there aren't any dates that I know of yet. So as soon as I have information from Stampin' Up, I'll be sure to share. Yes, Myrtle. So Myrtle's asking about my team get together. That is Friday night on YouTube. You should have gotten an email with the link to it, but it's at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Again, that's my team get together. Jackie Bullheis, Sharon Armstrong, Susan Campfield, and myself are pulling our teams together to do a fun stamp along Friday night. Speaking of team, if you guys have checked out the starter kit special this month, I did forget to mention that at the beginning. Amazing starter kit special. You get $208 of product for only $99. You get a bunch of in color products of the new 2024 to 2026 in colors. So I recommend checking that out. If you go to the paperpixie.com/top10, you can see all of my favorite reasons to join the Stampin' Up! Family. How do you know when it's time to re-ink your stamp pad? So the best way to know is when you stamp the image and you've got kind of splotchiness, or it looks like it's dry, the stamped image itself. So one way you can kind of stretch that a little bit is if you're using a stamp positioning tool like the Misty. You can sort of stamp it a few times to get good coverage, but if you're having to do that a lot, it's time to re-ink your ink pad. Another thing you can actually do is sometimes you can see the ink pad where the center, usually we almost always stamp right in the center of an ink pad, and you'll kind of see the ink is not as saturated in the center. You can visually see that. That's also another time to re-ink, or what you can also do is press ink around. I still have to clean mine off. I just used this when I inked up Night of Navy, but you can use something like, this is the one of the palette knives. You can use a plastic spoon, an expired credit card or gift card to sort of press ink around your ink pad, because sometimes there's a lot of extra ink in the edges of the ink pad, and just kind of pull it towards the center. That'll give you a little bit more life before you have to re-ink. But I will tell you, with our ink refills, first of all, whenever you purchase an ink pad, always buy the ink refill with it so that you're never stuck with a dry ink pad with no ink to refill. And then I actually have never gone through a complete ink refill. So that ink refill will really make your ink pads last a very, very, very long time. I've never actually finished up an ink refill bottle, so they're a great investment. Good question, Lydia, but I bet the answer is it wasn't a big seller. So as utilitarian as the trio punches are, they're one of those things that once you buy it, well, it's a non-consumable product, but I have a feeling a lot of people either already had a corner rounder punch that they're already using and didn't need another one, but it wasn't a big seller. That's typically the reason why Stampin' Up! Retires product. That way they can make room for new stuff. So products typically have a life cycle. We've seen it with our circle punches. They're around for a little while, then they get retired, then they kind of come back. So we hopefully will see a corner rounder punch at some point in the future. It may not be a trio punch, but I hope that we'll carry a corner rounder punch. I know they've gotten lots of suggestions in the suggestion box for that. Let's see. Yes, peanut butter cups would definitely fit in there, like several of them. That would be a good treat for that. Let's see. I actually haven't had issues with the new in color ribbons fraying. Now I'm going to punt that question to Brian as well, because he cut all of the ribbons for our ribbon shares. Did you have issues with the ribbon fraying?
Not any more than normal.
No. Yeah, so it wasn't not an abnormal. I mean, obviously if you got caught on the edge, but mine, I haven't experienced them fraying really at all. So they are, a softer textile, so they may be more prone to that, but I haven't, with normal usage, I haven't had issues with it. Yeah, we had 6 of the 8 ribbons were those. Right. Yeah.
So like 600.
And even when I was wrapping them on the ribbon tags, they were good. They weren't fraying. Ooh, good question or good suggestion, Gary. Yes, I will add that to my to-do list, a masculine themed card.
I did send her a search.
You'd send Gary a search? Yeah. Okay. The masculine cards, I'm totally with you. I get stumped on them a lot as well. It's just, I don't know, they're not cards that are made frequently, I think. So there's not a ton of inspiration that's out there on Pinterest. Obviously, if we have a masculine themed suite, that makes it much, much easier. But when we have suites that aren't masculine themed, it can be a little bit more of a challenge to come up with masculine style cards. So I will keep that in mind. Great suggestion. Oh, Sharon, how do I keep so calm and collected? Love when you make a mistake and just go on. I don't know. It's probably a survival. I don't know. I was thinking a survival mechanism, but it's not really. That's an extreme answer. A lot of it just comes from experience. And I don't, especially with paper crafting, I don't really sweat the small stuff. If I make a mistake, I figure out how to fix it. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to get past that, so it ends up in the trash and then I create it from scratch again. But a lot of it too probably has come from my professional experience. We kind of just had to think on the fly and adapt. That's just, I don't know, adapt is the word that keeps popping into my mind.
And you just have fun. And
I do, yeah. I'm always, like, I woke up this morning, I got to make, I got to make the in color cards for my in color club, and I actually woke up excited to get to work on them. I worked on them a little bit yesterday, had to finish them today, but I woke up excited to work on them. And even though there was a deadline looming, I was like, yes, I get to work on this today. So paper crafting for me just kind of, I don't know, it's joyful for me. So when I make a mistake, yeah, but thank you. Let's see. We've heard of several things to remove glue and ink. I promise I'll make notes this time so I don't ask repeatedly. Baby wipes, alcohol wipes, etc. So Linda, when you mentioned baby wipes and alcohol wipes, that sounds like maybe from fingers. I'm going to tell you the best way to remove ink from your fingers is to wash your hair. So I don't know if you can tell underneath my thumb. Do you see how it looks green there? So that's for me sticking my thumb in the Shy Shamrock ink pad earlier today. And as much as I used baby wipes and a chamois, I just couldn't get it out from underneath my fingernail. Tomorrow morning when I wash my hair, it'll be gone. But as far as on a project, there's a couple of things that I recommend, and these are in my favorites page as well. For little ink smudges, as long as you're quick, this is a Tombow sand eraser that should remove minor ink oopsies on your cardstock. The other one, which I don't see it, it's probably in the living room, but it is let's see if I have one in here. This is a brand new one, but an adhesive eraser. So these two things I always have in my little stash of tools to help me remove adhesive marks from cardstock and to help remove ink oopsies. Now, ink is going to soak into the cardstock, so this may not get it all the way off, but it will make a difference, okay? So Tombow sand eraser, adhesive remover, these would be my go-tos for removing from a project. As far as getting ink and adhesive on your hands, adhesive is one of those things that you can actually roll off on your fingers. I kind of create little ink boogers and I just throw them in the trash. That sounds so weird to say that, but that's how I get the adhesive off of my hands. Ink, again, washing your hair. You could use alcohol wipes as well. That can be a little bit harsh if you've got dry skin, but just a couple of ideas. Hopefully that helps you, Linda. And anybody that has suggestions in the chat, if they haven't already shared them, feel free to throw out there what you do to remove ink from either projects or your hands. Ooh, I've had this question a few times, Gary, and I've not personally tested it myself. I have read and heard that sometimes glycerin can recondition red rubber. Some red rubber is beyond the point of no return, and that can just happen over time, especially if they've maybe there's alcohol has touched them, or they've dried out and are kind of beyond repair. But you could try putting a few drops or a thin layer of glycerin on the red rubber and let that sit for a while before you clean it off, and see if that brings a little bit of life back to your red rubber. Trying to think what else has glycerin in it. The Stampin' Mist, I don't know if it has glycerin in it, but it is a stamp conditioner. You could try putting some Stampin' Mist on it as well and let that sit for a little while and see if that helps bring some moisture back to that red rubber. How do your photopolymers stamp so well without a foam mat underneath? Well, believe it or not, Louise, my little wood surface that you see on camera is foam. It's actually a neoprene desk pad. Think of a mouse pad. It's a little bit thinner than a mouse pad, but it does have a little bit of give to it. So that's why my photopolymer stamps stamp so well. So I do have a little bit of give. If you don't have a soft surface like that, I do recommend the Stampin' Pierce mat. That's a thicker foam. Don't know where mine is at the moment. I just used it. But I do have a neoprene desk pad, so like a mouse pad. Think of like a gaming mat. That's pretty much what is on my surface. So Elizabeth, two places. If you can see the join button below the video next to the subscribe button, that's the fastest way to get there. Otherwise, go down to the description beneath that and you will see the very first link that I've got included is to join as a patron. Okay, you can also use, I have a pretty link as well, thepaperpixie.com/patron. That will also take you there as well. Yes, Sandra, the In Color Club, that sign up closed on April 28th. So sorry about that. Let's see. I'm thinking about that. Basic beige, no. I don't think basic black at the moment comes in 12 by 12. It used to. Oftentimes that will come out with the holiday mini for Halloween projects. But I think we might see some 12 by 12 coming in the future. I don't know the specifics about that. But right now there's no way to get basic. Well, yes, there is a way, but you're not going to get it in a full pack. If you do the color families in 12 by 12, oh wait, that's not going to work either because basic black and basic beige are not in color families. I see why you're asking, Cheryl. Right now, no, those are not available in 12 by 12, but hopefully soon, maybe. But let me check one more thing because I think it's just... Yeah, so the 12 by 12 right now only comes in very vanilla and basic white. So hopefully at some point in the future. I did not personally see a scorpion. However, there was a scorpion under a chair at the, did I tell you this? I didn't tell you this. I did, at the final party. We didn't go to the final party because we hadn't had dinner yet. So we headed back to the resort, but apparently there was a scorpion under one of the chairs at the after party. So I didn't see it, but I've seen a photo of it. It got captured and taken care of. And I don't know if taken care of, I think it was probably just relocated.
Put in a bottle of tequila.
Brian says put in a bottle of tequila. No. Let's see. Ooh, good suggestion, Cindy. A pumice stone will remove ink from fingers. Great suggestion. All right, folks, we have reached the end of tonight's questions. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I hope you had a wonderful and blessed week. I hope you enjoyed tonight's projects. If you did, make sure to give us a thumbs up here on YouTube. That helps the channel out. We will be live again next Wednesday, which will be May 22nd for episode 330, I believe, if my numbers are correct. Pixie Patron members only stream is tomorrow night. That's episode 8 at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You do have to be a channel member for that. You'll find those links below the video here. either the join button or a link in the video description to join the Pixie patrons. We'd love to have you join us. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email at support@thepaperpixie.com. I so look forward to spending time with you here every Wednesday night. So grateful to those of you who've joined us live, and thanks to all of you who have watched us on replay. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week, and don't forget, all you need are stamps, ink, and a little paper pixie. Here's a quick shout out to my Pixie patrons. I will see you Pixie patrons tomorrow night. Take good care. Bye.